Aha! We should be back on any second. Sorry about that, guys. That sometimes happens out here in the boondocks. So it should be ready any second. And here we go. Okay, we're going to try this again. Sorry about that. Anyways, I was monologuing about how I got to where I'm at. So that actually could be its own very separate live stream if you wanted. So, but today we are talking about how to get out of the narcissist drama, how to not be hijacked by the narcissist drama. Because one of the biggest problems that happens is when we are triggered, when a narcissist behaves in a toxic sort of way, what happens is our amygdala, which is at the back of our head, our fight or flight, it takes over. We like to think about things as in I betrayed myself, I let myself down, I didn't stick up for myself, I didn't take care of myself, I didn't love myself, I didn't respect myself. And all of those, on a level, on an emotional level are true. But if you listen to them, there's all these judgmentalisms as if somehow your body or yourself betrayed you, and that's a really big word. Betrayal is a huge word. Oh my gosh, it's so emotionally activating. I betrayed myself. I disrespected myself. That's a lot of pain, a lot of beliefs we've been carrying for a long time. Let's put this in a little bit different light. And a different light is our amygdala took over our system in order to protect itself because it felt incapable of handling the situation. So when we were small, when we were very small, we were incapable of handling the situation. I mean, lots of things were not in our favor. We had toxic families, typically, toxic environment outside of ourselves, how women were trained, to be, the beliefs that were imprinted on us. It was pretty toxic. And for many, many women, even just being in the general world of so oppressed and trying to even have our voices count or our vote matter, all of those things. So there's a lot of emotion going on when we start to do this healing work. But in reality, when we were small, our amygdala needed to take over. Our amygdala, our fight or flight, our protect ourselves at all costs, it needed to to protect ourselves because we weren't able to protect ourselves. But now decades have gone past, decades and decades, and they've been discovering that our head brain and our heart brain and our gut brain are all linked. And in fact, for most of our lives, if not for most people and their lives, they've only been thinking with their one brain. They've only been thinking with this brain. And when this brain feels overwhelmed or confused or uncertain or doesn't have enough information, then it switches over to the amygdala, to the other brain. And that brain says, okay, we need to go in, DEFCON 4. We need to go into lockdown. We need to protect ourselves. When we look at it as our amygdala is taking control and that's what's happening instead of something huge and big like I'm a horrible person and I'm never, and I'm helpless. When we go down that path, we sort of trap ourselves into a fantasy world of hurt and anger and pain and awfulness in these beliefs. But when we put it into an objective point of view, this is my amygdala, and my amygdala is taking over because it doesn't know what to do because it doesn't have enough information. And then we say, oh, because my brain thinks that it's in charge. My brain thinks that it's supposed to make all the decisions, and my brain does not have the skills. It just doesn't, because each part of us has its own role to play. Our brain has its role to play, its data, its information. Our heart has its role to play, and our heart's job is that feelingness, that sensing around us. We've got our gut, which is our intuition, and that's like billions of bacteria with each of their own consciousness. So we've got three brains, literally. They've measured it, they've found brain cells in all of these different parts. We have three brains we're supposed to be working with. And for most of us, we've only been working with one. And so when that one gets hijacked and overwhelmed, or when that one doesn't know what to do, the amygdala, being the part of you that is supposed to protect you, kicks into action. And that's when you end up being in that fight or flight and acting in places that and in ways that you might not be comfortable with, or feeling things that you don't want to be feeling. That you don't want to walk through the world feeling like you have to protect yourself at all times and you can never trust anybody. So how do we break out of this? Because that's where the narcissist is. They're in their drama, right? They're in that dun da da dun. I mean, they're being completely hijacked by their amygdala, and it's a high sensitivity. But in reality, we can link our three brains, and our head brain and our heart brain and our gut brain can all inform each other. And when they work together, then they take our amygdala out of fight or flight. The more they're linked, the more they communicate, the more they work together, the more they give us the insight and the wisdom and the tools and the skills that we've wanted. It's our brain saying, no, I can't do this. And the amygdala saying, okay, here we go. When in reality, we've got three different brains. So how do you link them? Well, you make it a habit, you make it a pattern. And I talked about this yesterday about healthy habits every day are super duper duper important. And so it's in your best interests, because you will start feeling better, because you will start getting insight and information, because you will stay in a rational place, because your amygdala will stay calm, because you will be able to make good decisions. You will be able to see a situation clearly from a much bigger perspective than you have before, and you'll have inner peace. Why? Because you understand. Not only because you understand, but because you now have the skills and the tools to be online. So every day, 5 to 10 times a day, make a habit where you connect your your head brain, your heart brain, and your gut brain. And this is how you do it. You say verbally out loud, because you have to have that physical piece. You have to have that making of the words. You have to have that thinking of the words, because what we're doing is we're linking things, which means that it has to be sort of multidimensional. So we're saying it so that we get that part of the brain activated and that part of the body activated. And we're doing something, so we have to physically do something, because then that activates another part of our brain, and our nervous system, that it's a movement, it's an action. It's lighting up that part of our brain too. We're going to use vibration, because what vibration does is it relaxes things and it starts to get them to entrain and tune with one another. So if you think of clocks, if you think of a stringed instrument in a room, when there's a lot of vibration, you can hear it. And so we want to use vibration, because that sends out these signals, and it becomes more like a radio waves connecting with each other. It's our brain on the physical level, as well as the radio waves from the vibration, the tapping that we're doing, and we're activating all sorts of different parts of our body. Super simple. It shouldn't be this simple, but the more you do it, you're not going to be like, oh, it's amazing. What happens is it's that when you do this regularly every day, the results start to be that you enjoy your life more, because you are now more capable of handling life. So, okay. So you say, I'm connecting my head brain. So we've got that vibration from me doing the tapping. In Asian medicine, it's also releasing of energy, because when you compress a cell, it releases electrical energy. So that tapping works for that. You don't have to do it very long. In fact, I usually do it for just a few seconds. I'm tapping long time so that you can see it. You say, I'm connecting my head brain with my heart brain, and you hit the middle of your sternum right next to your heart, with my gut brain. And you tap right around by your navel. And let's say you do that 10 times. I'm connecting my head brain with my heart brain, with my gut brain. I'm connecting my head brain with my heart brain, with my gut brain. I'm connecting my head brain with my heart brain, with my gut brain. When you do that, you will start to notice that you have clarity and understanding and wisdom, that you're much calmer, but it has to be a practice. We have to constantly be linking these things so that they work together. And then not only do you get the individual skills and tools and insight from the different parts, from the different brains, there are literally brain cells that they have found in our heart. So, when we start to link these things, they work together. And you know what happens when we work together as a community of people? You know what happens? What happens is we achieve something that we never thought we could achieve, and that was impossible to achieve on our own. That's what happens. So that's the direction you're going. You're starting to become more of a superhero when you do this, someone who has talents and skills and insights that other people don't have because they're still working from, just like your narcissist, from this time 2 to 3 tablespoons of gray matter. And it's totally, it knows it's incapable to handle everything going on in life. Our head knows it doesn't have it all. And so then the amygdala takes over, and then there we go. Okay. So tomorrow we're going to talk a little bit more about EFT, which is a great way to calm down so that you can use your 3 different brains independently. Share this with people. Reach out if you want to. We're doing a wonderful coaching group that's super affordable, that gives you just about everything that you need in order to move forward, with lots of wonderful women. And we're still in some of the formation stages. And so you'll get to be in on the ground floor, which means that your voice will have an even bigger impact on making sure you get what you need, because we'll be listening, because we'll be kind of shaping it a little bit more around what the women in the group need. Okay. So I look forward to seeing you tomorrow, and I will talk to you later. Bye.